Let me just check if we are already live. Let me just check our Facebook page. Hold on a second. Okay, I think we are live on Facebook. Give me a moment to just deploy a push notification and we'll get started with this orientation very shortly. Hello and good day to everybody. Welcome to the free orientation of 9.09er English Review and Tutorial Center. My name is Brian. I'm your lecturer for tonight. And I'll be talking about three of the most popular English exams that we currently have here in the Philippines. For your overseas applications, you will definitely need to take an English test, be it the USA, UK, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand you're applying to. You will definitely require an English test, just like the IELTS, the OET, PTE, TOEFL, CELPIP, CELBAN, MET, and many other English exams that are currently available in the market today. And this is precisely for your protection and also to ensure that you will effectively and successfully get integrated in the foreign country that you're planning to go to, so that you will not go home to your home countries, go back to the Philippines after landing there just because you cannot integrate into the new culture and the new environment that you're living in. Studies have shown that if you cannot thrive in an English speaking country, which means that you're probably having some difficulty communicating with the people there, or even probably just living your life in those countries, you will have a greater propensity to go back home because you just can't survive in an English speaking country. And this is the precise reason that we have English exams to assess whether you are capable of surviving in the countries that you're planning to go to. Now, before I proceed with the orientation that I'm going to have today, I would like to invite everybody, all of you who are watching, and probably friends of yours as well who might be interested in English exams or maybe a career outside of the Philippines in English speaking countries, which are, by the way, very successful right now. And a lot of people would want to go to those places because the dollar exchange rate is a little bit high right now. So if you have intentions of going to overseas countries, particularly English speaking nations, I would like to invite everybody to join us on June 29, 2024. And this is going to be the very first English Exams Expo that's brought to you by 9.09 or English Review and Tutorial Center. This is going to be held between 5 or sorry between 1 p.m and 5 p.m. That's a Saturday, June 29 at the SM Mega Mall Mega Trade Hall. All right, so see you there. We're not only going to be doing lectures there, we're also going to be giving away some exciting prizes. The entrance is absolutely free. You also get free one-on-one consultation. If you are, say, for example, a medical professional or a skilled worker, like a butcher or a pipe fitter, or maybe a car repairman, or an international student, or planning to become one, or if you're an aspiring immigrant or you have relatives or family abroad, this is the perfect event for you to watch. Okay. So that is once again the English Exams Expo, which is going to be brought to you by 9.09er June 29, 1 to 5 p.m. at the SM Mega Mall Mega Trade Hall. All right. So see you there, guys. Okay, so let me just check. Yeah, we're still live. Hold on a moment. Okay, I got a little lost for a moment. Okay. And by the way, since we're talking about English exams, now English exams are really very important in applying overseas, particularly to English speaking countries. It's probably one of the primary requirements that you have. And so preparation is super important whenever you're taking a high stakes English test, just like the IELTS and other exams. But it is not to say that everybody needs to prepare, because there are some people who are already very good when it comes to their English. They just need a little bit of polishing, perhaps, and some familiarization with the examination, whereas others will need a total revamp of their language capacities at the moment. So it will really depend on the person. But what's good is 9.09er is not only a review center, not only one that provides for you training for your English exams, but also one that offers discounted exam fees for the IELTS or for the PTE, even OET. All you need to do is to drop us a line or two down the comment section, or maybe you could message us privately, or you can send an email to exams @nineronlinereview.com. And we are not only going to provide for you a discounted exam fee, but also take care of the processing so that you don't really have to go through all of the hassle of booking your exams. So that's super convenient, and you get a discounted rate as well. To give you an example, right now the IELTS is at 12,720 pesos. We can drop that price a little bit lower to 12,400 pesos with the free processing. So you don't have to worry about anything else like the paperwork and filling out all of those forms. We're going to take care of everything for you. So you can just deal with your English exam and not anymore all of those, um, documentary requirements and whatnot. And for the PTE, which is actually very expensive right now, it is priced 230 US dollars. When you convert that to Philippine money and then you add in the credit card charges and all that, it can turn out to be more than 13,000 bucks. Um, but with 9.09er, you can get it for 12,400 until today only, unfortunately. So tomorrow there will be a grand price increase when it comes to booking your PTE, yet still cheaper compared to the current rate, because we are an official PTE reseller in the Philippines. You want discounted rates for your English exams? Go reach out to 9.09er, and we take care of the rest as well. We will take care of booking your examination on your behalf, so you don't need to worry about anything anymore, but just to take your examination on your scheduled test date. Okay, so I've been talking about different English exams in general and how important they are for your overseas application. Maybe you're someone who doesn't even know anything about English exams. Like, this is your very first time to get to expose yourself to something like an English test. Like, it's really required for overseas applications, because when you're going to some other countries, for example, if you're planning to go to the Middle East, or if you've worked there before, you didn't really need to take an English test. But since if you're applying to English speaking countries this time, and we are talking about like your opportunities in English speaking countries that will lead you not only for not lead you not only to a position or a job outside the country, but also a clear pathway towards immigration or permanent residency or citizenship in those countries, then you will definitely require an English examination for that purpose. And these English exams are very, very important if you're applying to those countries, because sometimes you are the most qualified person. You have all of the qualifications, you have all of the requirements ready, you have your experience, your seminars, your training courses, your certificates, you have education backing you up, and the solid work experience that you could show to your employers, but you're not able to get the job because you don't have an English test yet. So your employer will still require you to take an English examination for that. And so, how important or how vital is it to prepare for an English examination? I would say it's 100% important. I mean, not all of us, and I think most of you will agree, not all of us uh, can consider themselves to be very good in English. Some of us might not be good at all, or sometimes we just have like competent English or modest English. So it is crucial that we improve that to the level that is required by the countries that we're applying to. And I always say this to my students: preparing for an English examination is not just about learning your grammar or being good when it comes to the vocabulary aspect, or perhaps maybe pronouncing things right. That's not everything, because a large part of your English exams that are high stakes, like the IELTS, the OET, or the PTE, will be test taking strategy. So you would definitely need to not only learn how to improve your English, but also learn all of the things that you need to apply as techniques or strategies in order for you to secure a good score in your examination. So, a large part of it, I would say, probably at least 40% of the entire performance would be based off your strategy taking the exam. Because tell you what, even if you're good in English, if you don't get to finish your exam, for example, you didn't finish your essay for IELTS, or you didn't finish your letter for OET, or you didn't finish your summary for PTE, there's no way you're going to get a good score regardless of how perfect your English is. So these are things that you will have to learn along the way, and definitely things that you would learn how to apply during the examination to help you get the most desired scores or your target scores for your English exams. Okay. And thankfully, this is a free session. So why not invite your friends over, tag your friends? If you have friends who are taking the IELTS or the OET or the PTE, this is the perfect time for them to ask questions. So if you have any questions about your English exams and how you can improve your performance in these tests, go ahead and invite them. They will benefit from this session. This is absolutely free, and you can ask whatever. All right, here's a question from Al Rain. Al Rain is asking, I already registered online for the expo. Does it secure my slot? Yes, it does, but you have to come early still, because the first 100 to 150 people who come to the venue to attend will get freebies, exciting freebies, right? So you get books and all that, and you get a chance to win a lot of different prizes as well. You will get prioritized, to make sure you come early, because early birds will get additional freebies. Okay, so there you go. But you just come there, and don't worry, because our team will be contacting you a few days or a few weeks prior to the exam. Oh, sorry, not the exam, but the expo. What's going on? Right. So prior to the expo, our staff will be reaching out to you, calling you, sending you text messages, sending you emails, just to ensure that you won't forget anything, like the date of the event, or the venue, right? Who knows, maybe you're already in MOA, but the event is in Mega Mall, Mega Trade Hall. All right, so yeah, just to make sure you're not lost or anything. Okay. All right. So let's talk about IELTS first. Today is a different kind of session, because most of the time we just do a quick orientation of the different exams. But today I'm going to give you some helpful experience-based tips based off my attempts to take English exams. By the way, I've also personally taken a couple of the exams that I'll be talking about tonight, which are the IELTS and the PTE. I've gotten perfect scores actually in both exams. Like for the IELTS, I got a band 9 overall. That's the highest grade you can get in the test. And then for PTE, I got 90 over 90. That's also the highest score you can get in the Pearson test of English academics. So I think I know a few things that I could share with you, and might help you in your preparation. And let's start with the IELTS. Anyone here is taking the IELTS? Kindly just, hit the heart icon while I sip my coffee. Sip the, sorry, sip. Press the heart icon right there. The emoji, yeah, all right. So we have a lot of people who are taking IELTS. Uh-huh. IELTS is still one of the most popular English exams in the Philippines, particularly because it is so accessible, regardless of where you are. there is IELTS close to you. Like even if you're in the far-flung provinces, there would always be a test center that's close to you. And here is my number one tip when it comes to the IELTS. Yeah, listen up, guys. Right. So number one tip, it is always to know the test format. All right, to get to know how the test is designed and take the examination not from the point of view of the test taker, but from the point of view of the test constructor or the test designer or the examiners. Okay, so when you're taking the IELTS, it's not sufficient that you know perhaps the types of questions that will come out, or perhaps in the writing test or the speaking examination, how to answer questions. It is also essential that you know how examiners are going to grade you. Have you even bothered to read the band score criteria that's published by Cambridge University and the IELTS in general, like IDP and the British Council? Have you bothered reading that document? It is available for public viewing. All you need to do is to probably do a quick Google search, and you will be able to see the list of um, band score descriptors, right? And this is super important because when you're taking the examination, it's not all about your English. It's sometimes about your compliance to, like what IELTS requires of you. I'll give you a perfect example. You can be an excellent writer, for instance, and not get the good score on the IELTS. And I'm pretty sure you've seen some of your friends like that, right? Like they're really good in English and they speak really good English, they write really well, but when they took the IELTS, you were so surprised that they didn't get their target results. And what could be the reason for that? None other than not actually writing according to what the IELTS requires you to write and how you're supposed to write. IELTS is an academic essay, and more than an academic essay, it is a discursive essay. It is not sufficient for you to be able to just list a lot of different arguments. Even if you're the most intelligent person throwing a lot of arguments onto your examiner, it is not the surefire way of passing the test because IELTS doesn't even require so many arguments. IELTS requires you to provide maybe a couple of reasons or maybe three reasons at the maximum and be able to expand or build on them. The more arguments you write, the more dangerous it is. And the more that you're not able to comply with what IELTS requires of you because you're not able to discuss any one of those arguments that you're writing. And that way, it's a little bit risky for intelligent people because intelligent people tend to write a lot of different arguments, but they are not fully supported. Whereas probably you've seen some of your friends who are not really good in English, but they passed IELTS with flying colors, especially in the writing component. And that's probably because they're already severely handicapped since they don't know what to write. They don't have a lot of ideas. So they just build on the ideas they have, they expand them, they provide examples, they provide reasons, and so in doing that, they even comply better with what IELTS requires of you. So again, the nature of the test is discursive, not enumerative. You're not supposed to list down your arguments, you're supposed to discuss them. And the more discussion you put, the higher the score you get. So again, it's not just English. It's also knowing how you're going to be graded in the test. And one of those will be your task attainment. Task attainment is your ability to respond to the questions and to build your arguments, to present a clear and consistent position throughout the entire response, and also to be able to expand your arguments, like you're able to mention them and then you're able to expand or build on them, provide examples or evidences to support your view, and that's something that will definitely make or break you in the test, not just your grammar, not just your vocabulary, right? So yeah, that's one of the tips. Now for the speaking examination, for example, you can be very good in English and have excellent speaking skills, like your pronunciation is top notch, your grammar is flawless, you have out of this world vocabulary, but sometimes you speak with very short answers. For example, you're asked, do you work or are you a student? And you just said, I work. I mean, that's good English right there, but that's not how IELTS is supposed to be taken. Because when you're taking the examination, there should be quote unquote willingness to talk. And if you're not willing to talk, then you don't get a high score. That means to say that you have to be a little bit extra. You have to be a little bit abnormal when you're taking the IELTS. Your speech should be extremely long. Your answers should be well elaborated and expanded. You have to build on your responses. And I'll be contented with just saying a few words or short phrase to respond to your questions. Okay, so these things you will definitely learn in class. You will understand better how your examiners grade you and how your strategies can impact your test score, and how these exams are not um, just isolating your English skills and assessing those skills. It's about being able to comply also with what the examination requires. Okay, so that's my number one tip when it comes to the IELTS, which is a general English test. Now, let's jump to an alternative English examination. Now, some of you might be interested to take the OET. Anyone here is taking the OET? Kind of give me a heart. Anyone who's taking the OET. OET stands for the Occupational English Test. It is a profession-specific exam that is usually for healthcare providers like nurses or doctors who are looking for an alternative English examination that is more attuned to or related to their medical profession. Anyone? Do we have people who are bound to take the OET very soon? Not a lot. Okay, that's totally understandable. Because the examination is a little bit on the expensive side. The price is a bit steep at 587 Australian dollars. So it's probably the most expensive English examination out there. One of the tips, though, that I would want to give you before you take the OET is to focus on your reading test, because unfortunately, even if reading is not really that challenging, in your OET, you're required to read something in a very short amount of time. And the most common reason for failure for OET is not writing or not speaking when you have already prepared for your tests, but instead the reading examination. And probably this is a tip that I would want to share with you regarding the reading exam. uh it's not all about comprehension. Sometimes it has something to do with the speed of reading. So when you're doing your part A, in which you will be provided questions about the passages that you will see, the passages are relatively short, around 150 words and up to 300 words per passage. What you want to do is to actually not read the passage and not also read the questions, but just look at the headings of each one of the passages. Or if there's no heading, then you can invent a heading for it or something, and then try to figure out what those topics are all about. And when you jump into the questions, start looking for the answers only in isolation, only in places where you feel they would be found. So for example, you have a passage and it's about diabetes mellitus. You have the symptoms, you have a case study, you have the treatment and management. You also have something like lifestyle modification out there. If you're going to be asked what particular medications you're going to give to a patient, you're not going to look at the background. You're not going to look at the case study. You're probably going to look at the treatment and management section, and you're not going to search every place. I feel the problem with the people who do not get to complete the OET reading exam is they're reading everywhere. Like they're trying to find an answer to a question, but they're searching every place. You get my point. Like, there are four sections only, there are four passages only, and you can find the answer usually in just one or two of those passages, but you scour all of those passages just to find an answer to one question, which is very inefficient. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and at the same time, it confuses you and slows you down considerably during your reading examination for OET, right? Another thing, when you're taking the OET, particularly for the speaking examination, there's always a tendency for people to use language that is a little technical. For the reason that, of course, we are healthcare providers and we know what we're talking about and we're acquainted with those technical words or jargons. But remember, when you're taking the speaking test, you are not talking to a professional. You are not communicating with someone who knows any one of those jargons, but instead, you are going to have a conversation with a layperson, and that layperson needs all of those jargons to be simplified according to his or her language level, which means you have to actually talk in lay language as well and explain all of the things that you're talking about in the medical parlance down to something a bit more understandable to a regular guy. Yeah, so that's the speaking test, which is in striking contrast with that of your writing exam. Because if it's a writing test, then it's going to be a little technical because you're writing to a fellow healthcare professional who definitely understand a lot of the jargons that you'll be writing. So, in that regard, I feel like when you're taking the OET, it's a little confusing sometimes because, in one aspect of the test or one subtest, you have to pretend that you're communicating with a layperson, but in another you have to also kind of get into a situation when you're writing to someone who understands all of the jargons that you're writing. So yeah, that's the oet. Now let's address the elephant in the room, probably one of the most popular English exams right now, the Pearson Test of English Academic, or PTE Academic. Do we have people here taking PTE? Give me a heart, guys. Okay, like tap that heart button right there. I want to know how many of you guys are taking the PTE or probably considering the PTE. Anyone? Right. So the PTE is a computer delivered and computer assessed exam. You can share this with your friends as well. Okay. And I'm not going to be sharing with you a lot of tips, but there's one thing that I would not want you to do during your test. So listen up. If you have friends, you can also tag them here. The PTE has already updated its software since 2015. So if you would notice when you get your test results, there are now a lot of indicators there, not only your communicative components like listening, reading, writing, and speaking. There will be skills profile section in your test results, because this will be assessing not only your ability to use the language when it comes to the listening, reading, writing, and speaking aspects, but also the other communicative and also enabling criteria. Right now, one of those would be your ability to use short or extended writing or speech, in which you are expected to produce, and I would have to, emphasize this, original language. A lot of people, and I know you don't want to hear this, or I don't want to be the one to break it to you, but this is something you don't want to hear. Um, you don't want to use templates in your examination, right? You don't want to use anything that's memorized in your exam. So if it is a template that you prepared for ahead of time using a lot of the samples you can find online, or if you got your information from, say, YouTube or whatever, and you saw there that this is something that's sort of a hack in your exam that will help you to always get the passing score, I'm afraid they won't work anymore right now, because what the PTE does is to compare your test performance and your responses with millions of other test takers or test takers of the PTE. And if there is a very close match, it means that the words that you use, the templates you utilize, are very much the same with other candidates. The examination will give you severe markdowns for that. And this is the reason that a lot of candidates right now are getting severely low scores in the speaking examination, sometimes unrealistic anymore, like a 12 or maybe 18 out of 90. That is unbelievable. I've never seen something like that in my life since 2015, only the past couple of years. So try to avoid as much as you can the templates that you get online. It is possible to take with you a few words or phrases, perhaps, that you can use as sentence starters, but memorizing an entire script and using that every single time will not work, whether it be for the essay writing component or any part of the speaking examination. they won't work. So that's why, a lot of people are asking us when they're inquiring and they're enrolling, will you teach us templates? What templates do you have there? Are these the updated templates that will help us fast? And unfortunately, you can't answer that question with yes, because we don't teach templates here at 9.09, or we follow the correct way of teaching PTE, which is not through a hack that once worked. I need to be very honest. They worked for a time. There was one, a time when every one of these templates worked, but that's in the past. It's kind of different right now. Yeah. So no, no. Please avoid using templates. Achilles is asking, speaking in PTE po ba or IELTS yan? This is for the PTE speaking examination. For IELTS, it's more of an interview, so it's nothing that can be templated, certainly. But examiners should also know that you're being unnatural or you rehearse your answer. So just be natural. I mean, whenever you're taking these English tests, be it IELTS, OET, or PTE, you have to just be yourself and you have to be very natural. Like you have to sound as if you're just communicating with a regular person and you're not actually too rehearsed or too contrived that will take out points from your total task score. Because if you're not native like, which means you don't sound natural, you sound very artificial, you're not going to get a good score. Okay. Again, I didn't want to say that to you guys. I don't want to be the one to break that news to you, but it's something that you really need to work on. And if you have an upcoming PTE and you've learned a lot of the templates, throw them away, right? This is not the right time for you to blow off your chances of getting a good score on your PTE. Just make sure that you're doing it the right way. Avoid the templated responses and stick to more natural kinds of communication strategies to get a better result. Okay. And at the bottom of it all, I know we're about to end this meeting, and it has been a fun how many minutes of your time. And thank you so much, by the way, to all of our audiences from Zoom, from YouTube, and from Facebook. Thank you so much, because we're streaming live using 3 platforms tonight. Thank you for spending your Friday evening with me. I just want to say that practice makes perfect. Probably like hearing me, I'm not really like the uh most competent English speaker out there. But I am proud to say that I got a band 9 in all of the components of the IELTS, which is the highest score. That's listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Also for the PT, I got 90 over 90 out of all of the different, or for all of the different subtests of the exam. But I'm not saying I'm perfect, where I was born speaking English or my first language was English in the first place, because all of that will be a lie. What I know how to do is to practice really hard and train in a smart way. I enrolled myself in a test preparation center, which is 9.09er, the same company I'm employed in right now. And I actually trained for months before I took my English exams. I didn't rush. I made sure that when I took the test, I was ready. And I've seen gradual but consistent improvements in my test performance since the day I enrolled. And over time, I was getting higher and higher and higher grades until such a time that when I took the examination, I was only making 1 or 2 mistakes in the exercises for listening and reading. And my coaching sessions reveal that my writing and the speaking performances were also up to the standard that I really want them to be. And that's when I decided to take the examination. Nobody should fail these English exams. Nobody, right? Nobody should get a low score in these English tests. It's just that some people are taking the examination too soon. Like they're not yet ready and they're taking it anyway. That's why they're not getting the results that they want. But if you're already having your coaching, you're attending your lessons, you're taking mock exams, and you're getting scores that are already meeting the standards that you require, then by all means take the exam. We're 100% confident you will get your desired results. Even if you don't get it the first time, you'll get it the second time. But if your scores are so far, it's like you're wasting money, because you won't pass and you're just expecting for a miracle to happen. All right, here's a question from Scarlett. And Scarlett is asking, Coach, for PTE, what is the IELTS 7 equivalent? I think that's a 65 right now for the current standards. It has gone up actually, but I think the regulations have not yet changed. All right, so 65 is still accepted at the moment. It will change. It's supposed to change because the PTS already changed the matrix and the conversion rates for PTE, or the conversion of scores for PTE against IELTS and others. But for now, just aim for 65 and you're good to go. Okay, at least for now. I'm not going to talk about the future because we can't predict what's going to happen in a few months' time or a few years. But at least for now, it's a 65. Any more questions, guys? I hope you had fun talking, like listening to me. I had fun talking to you tonight. Yeah, happy weekend. Yeah, enjoy the rest of the week. And if you have any interest in preparing with us, 9.09er, don't hesitate to contact us. You can reach us through Facebook at Niner, like this page and also other pages of 9.09er. And you can also email us at info@nineronlinereview.com. For exam bookings, you could also email exams@nineronlinereview.com. And if you have problems with your account or your review program, you can email training@nineronlinereview.com. I usually teach every Tuesdays the live classes for IELTS, OET, and PTE, and I shall be seeing you in one of my future classes here at 9.09er English Review and Tutorial Center. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for listening to for spending some time with me, listening to my you know random rambling tonight. And I hope to see you again next time. And don't forget, June 29, 2024, at the Mega Mall Mega Trade Hall, the first ever English Exams Expo, brought to you by 9.09er English Review and Tutorial Center. That's absolutely free for everyone. And you get to also have a chance of winning some of the amazing prizes, including free exams, right? So yeah, we're going to be raffling off free IELTS, OET, PTE, and also cash prizes plus books and other prizes as well during the event. So see you there. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night, and see you again next time. Bye for now.